Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about a way to study the Bible and a way to teach other people to study the Bible in a manner that allows us to focus on the gospel and on the implications of the gospel from any given text. So on the screen, you can see some questions that we can ask of the text as we read. First, what does the text say about God? We have, for our orality tool, a little arrow pointing up to represent God. So in the passage, what does it tell us about who God is, about what he has done, things like that? Secondly, what does the text say about people or about sin? So we have an X there, kind of like Xing out sin, it's bad. So what does the passage tell us about us as humans and our need for God and the sin that separates us from God? Thirdly, we have the cross as our picture, and the question is, how is Jesus the hero of the text? So whether it's Old Testament or New Testament, either way, we want to always look at a passage and look for Jesus, whether it's explicit or implied. Jesus is the focal point of everything in the Bible, and we want to look for that. And then finally, our response. So how will we obey what we've learned, and how does it relate to God's global mission? So for that one, we have a circle that could be like an O for obey, or it could be like a globe representation. Either way, we want to ask how we personally are going to respond to what we've learned about the gospel through the text, and we also want to apply that broadly to the mission of God and to what we can learn about that. And then finally, we want to think about who can we share this with, who can we pass along what we've learned to, so that we develop a habit of going to Scripture not just for ourselves, but for other people. So now, as we've gleaned these different things from the passage that we've read, we can then pull it all together into kind of a summary sentence, for example. Now, for this example, we're going to use Psalm chapter 1. So if you'd like to, you could pause the video right here and read that passage, and then come back and we'll look at how we can answer these questions from that text and how we can summarize that as you see below. Okay, so as we look at Psalm 1, we learn some things about God. We see that he's the giver of law. We see that he's the one who judges and before whom the righteous stand. We see some things about people. We see that all of us naturally are wicked. We're on a path that leads to us perishing unless we change and choose the path that God has for us. We see Jesus in this text because we aren't the blessed man. Jesus is the blessed man. Jesus is the one who delighted in the law of God day and night, and who took the punishment of the wicked that we see in this passage, so that we could be made new and stand in the congregation of the righteous, because without him taking our place, we would not be able to do that. So how we can obey by delighting in the law of God as Jesus did, and the fruitfulness and the prospering that comes from that, not only fruitful personally, but bearing fruit that many others will be influenced by. So once we've kind of asked these questions, looked at the passage, got some notes, some ideas, we can draw this together into a summary, as you see on the screen. So for example, God is the lawgiver and righteous judge, but we are wicked and on a path to perishing. Jesus is the blessed man who delighted in God's law always and was driven away as the wicked deserve, so that we can stand in the judgment by faith in him, and we should delight in God's way to be fruitful and to prosper. So this is just an example. I mean, this pulls together elements of a lot of other tools that are out there, but just one example of how we can take any given text in the Bible, ask some basic questions about it, and then bring what we've learned together into a really rich statement of the Gospel's declaratives and imperatives for us from the passage. So I hope this is helpful to you, and I hope this is helpful to those that you're able to share it with.